They say those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Is that the case with Israel today? The strikes on the country were unprecedented and unexpected, but the timing is not an accident. It's the biggest attack that Israel has seen since the Yom Kippur War. That was 50 years ago. On October 6, 1973, Israel fought a war for its survival. And 50 years later, it is fighting another one. The Yom Kippur War is known by many names: the October War, the Fourth Arab-Israeli War. But what led to this conflict? In 1967, Israel launched attacks on Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. It resulted in Israeli occupation of Palestine, also Golan Heights in Syria, and the Egyptian Sinai Desert. 6 years later, in 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a two-front attack. They attacked Israel from two sides, Egypt and Syria. Their mission, to regain their lost territory. So that's how the Yom Kippur War started. At first, Israel was caught unprepared. They thought their defense was impenetrable. But when Egyptian and Syrian forces launched an attack, Israel was brought down in just 3 hours. It left them shocked. This country was celebrating the festival of Yom Kippur. It's the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. An attack in the middle of that celebration was unimaginable to them. They never expected anything like this. Plus, many soldiers were on leave. So the initial losses were heavy. Israel faced a lot of setback. But they hit back. And it turned the tide in their favor in this war. In the end, the Yom Kippur War ended in a stalemate. Israel and Egypt signed a ceasefire. And while Israelis did not lose the war, they were left in shock. They could not believe that their country had been left exposed, especially in the face of such a brazen attack. Plus, there were those who fought the war. We know many of them today as Israel's leaders, like Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He fought in that war, and Labour Party Premier Ehud Barak. So this war changed Israel. It changed its people and its leaders. It also raised many questions. The first is about the intelligence failure. How did it happen? How did Israel not anticipate this? How did so many soldiers die? There was public uproar. There were multiple investigations. And in the end, then Prime Minister Golda Meir had to resign. The people of Israel blamed her for the conflict. At least the politicians did. She had to step down. 50 years on, Israel faces a similar question. How did they not see this coming? Hamas has tried a lot of things before. Rockets, suicide bombs, even incendiary kites. But nothing they have done has ever been this brazen. It's rare for Israel to lose control of its towns. It's even more rare for it to not see it coming. After all, this is a nation with the most sophisticated and extensive intelligence network in the whole of West Asia, among the best in the world. Its surveillance system is among the most advanced in the world. Yet, at the end of a Jewish holiday, they were caught asleep at the wheel. Just like they were caught asleep in 1973, 50 years ago. Israel's famed security apparatus failed then, and it looks like it has failed again. So what was it this time? Was it overconfidence? In 1973, Israel never thought Egypt and Syria would attack them. They thought the 1967 war was enough to deter them. Reports suggest this time was no different.